Last month, we talked all about the grain group and why it was important for our bodies. Remember, we talked about the importance of eating enough whole grains so that our body gets fiber and is clean on the inside and stays strong and healthy on the outside. Grains are an important food group for our bodies, as is the protein group, which is what we'll be talking about today. We've already talked about the fruit group, the vegetable group, the grain group, and today we'll be discussing the protein group and why it's important for your bodies. Now, the protein group does a lot of things for a lot of the parts of your body, which makes it a very important food group to be eating each day. Protein food is kind of like these Legos here. Your body needs these Legos or protein foods to build different aspects of your body, like your hair, your skin, your muscles. All parts of your body use protein to build or digest or denature these important parts of our body so that they can function and grow and develop properly. Eating enough protein foods helps our body to have those parts, those components that it needs to grow and be healthy. Very, very important. I have with me some healthy foods that belong in the protein group, and hopefully you see some that you like. Let's talk about these for a second. I have a chicken breast. This is one of my favorites. We eat at my house a lot. How about nuts and seeds? This is kind of a tricky one that people forget belong in the protein group. But remember, there are foods that belong in this group that are both animal sources and plant sources, which we'll talk about in a little bit. There are also less healthy protein options like hot dogs and bacon. Yes, they belong in the protein group, but they have a lot of fat and cholesterol, which isn't good for your heart. So eating these in moderation, meaning sometimes, but not all the time, will still give your body nutrients and help it be strong and healthy, but doesn't add all those excess calories and unneeded fat. Another tasty, healthy one would be chicken and eggs and beans. These are a healthy way that you can get protein into your body and have what your body needs to grow and develop and form properly. Very, very important. Now I have with me some examples of animal sources. Maybe you can see some of your favorite animal proteins on this list. You'll notice I have hamburger, I have tuna fish, seafood, ham, eggs. Delicious ways to get protein. And maybe animal sources are one of your favorite ways to get protein each day. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you also get protein from some plant sources, like nuts and seeds. You can see on my picture, I have black beans, sunflower seeds, tofu, peanut butter, almonds, and beans. These are great ways to get protein into your body. And if you happen to be a vegetarian or know someone that is a vegetarian, what that means is that they prefer to eat these plant sources and they avoid these animal sources, which is perfectly fine. If they get enough of these plant sources, then they're okay not to eat these animal sources. So you can make your choice as to what type of protein you prefer to eat. But remember how important it is for your body. Any guesses how much of this protein food you should be getting? 5 ounces a day. Now we'll talk about what this looks like in a few minutes, but a great way to remember is to put those fingers together and pretend like it's a fish, because fish belong in the protein group, right? And 5 ounces is the amount that the USDA recommends that we have each day, so we have enough of these protein bricks for our body to grow and form those needed proteins inside of our body to work properly. Now that we've talked about foods that belong in the protein group, let's see how well you are at recognizing them. We're going to have a little quiz. You'll give me thumbs up if it belongs in the protein group. So that could be any of these foods. It could be nuts, seeds, it could be seafood, it could be eggs or chicken or turkey. Any food that belongs in the protein group, you'll give me a thumbs up. If it does not belong in the protein group, you're gonna give me a thumbs down. So this could be grains or fruits or vegetables or dairy foods, treats, right? All of these foods would be a thumbs down food because it does not belong in the protein group. Okay, so remember, thumbs up if it is a protein group, thumbs down if it is not a protein group. Good luck. How'd you do? Hopefully you were able to recognize protein foods. If not, it was great practice to practice noticing these, and maybe you'll be able to recognize protein foods when you see them with your meals or at snack time at a friend's house maybe. Protein foods, remember, are so important and healthy for your body, and getting them the healthiest form is the best for your body. Well, now that we know why protein food is good for our body, we need to know how much of it we should be having. We talked earlier about the 5 ounces rule, like the fish, but how in the world do you tell how much 5 ounces is? Now, if you happen to have a kitchen scale at your house, that's a fantastic way. This works just like a scale that you weigh yourself at the doctor's office or in your bathroom, where you stand on it and it tells you how much you weigh. A kitchen scale works the same way. You would place the food on it and it would tell you how much it weighed, how many ounces. Now, most likely not many of you have a kitchen scale at your house or even in your backpack, right? When you're eating lunch at the cafeteria, can you pull out a scale from your backpack and measure how many ounces that protein food is? Not likely, right? And if you want to, that's a great option as well. But let's practice learning some good patterns so that you know how much protein food you're eating without the use of a kitchen scale. There are a few things I want to show you today, and hopefully you're familiar with their sizing and you can think about how much they mean and how much you should be having. Let's see, for instance, some peanut butter. How much peanut butter should you be having? How many ounces? Kind of hard if you haven't thought about it before, right? If you have a peanut butter sandwich with 1 scoop of peanut butter or a peanut butter sandwich with 6 scoops of peanut butter, that's going to be much different and give you a lot of a different amount of protein. Have you ever seen one of these before? Now, a ping pong ball is about the size of 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and that constitutes 2 servings. So if you have a ping pong sized ball of peanut butter, you're having 2 servings of peanut butter. So let's pretend you have your 5 ounces a day and you have a 2 tablespoon ping pong ball size of peanut butter on your sandwich for lunch. That takes away 2 of those proteins already, and you only need 3 more for your day. Up next, I have a CD or a DVD. Is this something that you're familiar with? Now, having enough protein food when you're eating lunch meat, for instance, you want to imagine it looking like a disc. And a disc constitutes 1 ounce, which would be 1 serving of protein food. So a 1 ounce size protein food of lunch meat looks like this DVD. How about a tennis ball? I bet you're very familiar with tennis balls when you used to play tennis in PE. Now, a tennis ball is about the size of a half of a cup, and this is what you want to envision when you're eating beans or chili, and this would count as 1 serving. So let's make a protein menu for the day. So we're starting with our need, 5 ounces a day, right? And we're going to have 2 tablespoons, a ping pong sized ball with our lunch. So we'll take 2 off of our list. Next, we're going to have a half a cup of chili, a tennis ball size for dinner. That takes away another protein need. And I'm going to have 2 disc sizes of, let's say ham for a snack with some cheese and crackers. That takes away our last 2. How easy was that? Most Americans don't struggle with getting enough protein in their day. They struggle with getting maybe too much or not getting them from healthy sources. If you have the option of getting chicken or bacon, bacon is delicious and okay to eat once in a while, but chicken is our healthier choice. We can also eat more of these plant sources. We typically don't get enough of these plant sources, and they're great options to give our body the protein it needs without all the added fat and unnecessary calories that we can get from our other counterpart, the animal sources. Let's practice making a healthy recipe. This recipe is very inexpensive and easy to make. You can do it at your home and probably already have ingredients, or very easily can buy them from our grocery stores in town. This recipe will give your body protein food and give you a great example of how you can add protein food throughout your day from our plant sources. We will be using peanut butter in this recipe. Today for our protein recipe, we're going to be making one of my all-time favorite protein recipes. It also incorporates some whole grains, so it's a win-win recipe. This recipe is called Oatmeal Energy Bites, and maybe you've tried these before. They're super easy. They only require a few ingredients. You can eat them for breakfast on the go, for snacks with your lunch, or even for a dessert because they are very sweet. Let's get started. The first recipe, or the first ingredient for our recipe, is going to be 1 cup of oats. These are really inexpensive and belong in the grain group. They are whole grains, which means they have not been processed to have any part of the grain removed. We also will add in a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. Now this is where our protein comes from. We'll add that peanut butter right into our oats. And next we're going to add some honey. Now this creates a little bit of stickiness so that the recipe will stay together. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of honey. We'll just mix this together. And this will add a little bit of sweetness as well. Is this recipe looking familiar? Maybe you've tried this before. We're also going to add, this is probably an unfamiliar ingredient for some of you. It's called flaxseed. But this flaxseed also belongs in the protein group. It has a lot of protein. It comes from flax and gives you protein from the seed. It's been ground, so that means it's like a flour, a powder. And we're going to add a 1/3 cup of this. Now, if you don't have flaxseed at your house or you can't find it in the store, you can use more oats here. You could also try crushed up cereal. You can experiment with lots of different ways. This just adds a little more texture and more protein to our recipe. So I'm going to use my spatula to mix these ingredients together. And then we're going to add one more ingredient, which I'm sure you'll be thrilled about. We're going to add some chocolate chips. Now, typically we don't want to add a lot of added sugar to our recipes, but I'm going to add about a 1/3 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you, of course, can experiment and do different things. Another tasty add-in you can add to our recipe is some dried fruit like raisins or cranberries are another great way to make this recipe maybe a My Plate energy ball where you incorporate some dried fruit as well. So I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of these mini chocolate chips. They're like mini size. You could also use full size ones. You could do milk chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, a mix of different kinds. I've also seen peanut butter flavored chips before, and those would be delicious in here as well. So I'm just gonna mix this together, and it's that simple. We're already finished. I'll show you how delicious it looks. So we just have our oats mixed with our peanut butter, honey, flaxseed, and some chocolate chips added in there. And then you just take out some of that dough and roll it into a ball and put it in the fridge. You don't even have to cook it. So simple and easy, right? And you totally can eat it right now, right as you're making it. Putting it in the fridge just helps it to harden up so it holds its shape a little better. You don't have to store them in the fridge, but they do, like I said, hold their shape a little better, and they're not quite as squishy when they've been sitting in the fridge for a little while. And that's it. So simple and easy. I'll make sure to send this recipe home with you so you can take it home and hopefully create it with your family and enjoy this recipe for snack time or a quick breakfast if you're running late in the morning. Eating protein food is a great way to make your muscles strong. Another way to make your muscles strong is by exercising those muscles. The more you use and exercise your muscles, the stronger they'll be and the more useful they will be for your body in moving and having enough energy. What you're going to be playing today, we're going to be playing an exercise with cones. So there'll be some cones placed a few feet apart, and you'll be having an exercise sheet, and this exercise sheet will tell you what exercises you're supposed to do. So the class will split into 2 groups, and you'll form 2 lines. The PE teacher will place cones ahead of each of the lines, and when she says go, you're going to race doing these exercises. So 1 exercise to 1 cone, 1 exercise to the next cone, 1 exercise to the last cone, and then you'll run back to the end of the line. Then the next person in line will do the same. So you'll be doing 3 different exercises in a relay race. The first team to complete their exercises through all of the participants in their line will be the winning team, and they will win this exercise. The PE teacher could consider splitting you into different groups. Maybe she'll split the class in half. Maybe you could try boys versus girls. This is a great competitive way to practice building those muscles and make your body strong and healthy. Focus on eating protein foods this month, and I will see you next month. Goodbye.